Welcome to another video. Today we're doing a movie review. We're kind of late, I understand, of The Joker. And so, I'll give you a little background. This is our third technical watch of the film. We watched it when it first came out, and then we went with our homies and saw it about 3 days later.
Yeah.
So we saw it in theater twice. That kind of gives you a little perspective of how much we did like it to an extent. But then we had to watch it a third time to kind of get a refresh on it. We weren't doing the channel at the time, and so third time watching it, kind of cleared.
Third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm. Kind of got some things cleared up. Rewatching after kind of taking a step back for about 8 months or whatever.
I guess it came out in like November when we saw it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's been about 7-8 months or whatever, and so
Quick math.
quick math. Now we're here, and we're going to do a review finally of our opinion of it. And you want to go ahead and what did you like about the movie?
I like that it was a really different take on the Joker, because it was. And I also like that it addressed a lot of the societal issues that are happening currently. So even though they used Gotham, it is a bunch of issues that even today we are facing in our society. Like, it is, and it shows that socioeconomic kind of gap that we have, like the life of the lower class versus people who live in the upper class and their perspective on people like of the other side. And just, I think they did a really great job at that. And also, they did a really great job at, how do I say it? I don't know. They really, they knew what they wanted to make the viewer feel. And with the music and acting, because acting was amazing, they did a really great job at making you feel the emotion and kind of like, feeling that they wanted you to feel.
You go from feeling his pain to then having a sigh of relief when there's a joke that happens, like but gets started in the beginning of the movie where he finally gets fired for having the gun. And so
spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, well, there always will be spoilers in this review.
Always. But
there's and people most likely have already seen this, but there's a scene in the beginning of the movie or midway, I guess, when he finally gets fired. And you have that sadness of, him having a gun to protect himself because, being bullied and so on and so forth. And then he gets caught by the gun, which his disguise, by the way, for some reason reminds me of Robin Williams when he was a clown doctor, like he was a doctor, but he was I cannot think of the movie. He was... hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a movie with Robin Williams where he's a doctor and he's helping kids who has cancer, and he's like messing around, kind of doing his thing with, he has like a little red nose and so on and so forth, and it kind of has that feeling to it. That clip right there for some reason reminds me of that. But after he drops his gun and it gets the sadness of him getting fired, when he comes in, it's a sigh of relief of little laughter of when he breaks, when he says, "I gotta clock out." The scene you love.
Well, those are just humorous moments, and it had its humorous moments.
But I'm saying it was placed perfectly after you felt a lot of, like, sadness on your chest. Like, you felt, you empathized with them, and it was just a sigh of relief when there was a joke that came in, but then it got back to continuing his life. And I really enjoyed how Todd Phillips and the rest of them kind of displayed his story, in the sense of where he's walking up the stairs. You actually kind of feel the weight on his shoulders when he's walking up the stairs. And then the idea of when he goes to his mom and how his mom kind of treats him, even though she loves him to death, how she praises this man of Thomas Wayne, who is represented by many people of our society who are on the upper end. This is probably the first time we've seen Thomas Wayne in this iteration compared to what we normally see, where he's trying to take care of Gotham and help people and so on and so forth, and people praise them. And so this view was very
It was a different perspective.
yeah. And those lines of him where he was like, if you're nothing, you're nothing. But then you have the mother who is talking about how he's an amazing man and so on and so forth. And we see that in society now. We see it in society in general, where just because you have so much power, that automatically means that you're a great man or whatever the case might be, or a great woman or whatever. But in reality, they're not. And so that really displayed a lot. And then, but the main core thing of this whole video was mental health and socioeconomic differences between the two. And Todd Phillips did a very good job displaying that. You also go from how we show that we don't really care about mental health in our, I don't know if it's as humans, but for sure in Western culture, or in America technically, it seems like we don't care for our own humans, our own citizens in a sense, because you go from them taking away his medicine and just saying good luck.
No, it is, and that is something that happens, and I think it's just, it shows, like we're seeing, those societal differences, and it also shows how, you know, the mistreatment that a lot of people are facing, and the fact that life is like, just, I guess American culture wise, it's just go, 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 go. There's no stopping. There's no, you are on 7 different medications like he was, and like,
but
hey.
that was the problem in the 70s too, because the movie's supposed to be displayed like around the 70s. Yeah. So that was kind of the issue of just.
Yeah. So it might be a time thing. It might be.
But still kind of like
a jab at, our society now, because it is still very relevant. But no, I think you're absolutely right that it is to me really sticking to the topic of mental illness and mental health, and just how to, I don't know.
And how us as, you could say American citizens, but maybe as a human race, how we specifically care one thing over another rather than our own selves. And the example I wanted to give you actually of how humans are, I don't know if it's Americans, but just in general, where in the beginning of the scene when Joker gets his poster taken off and all the kids stole it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You saw how he was begging and asking people to help, and they're technically in New York. This is Gotham City, New York. So hundreds of people are walking down the street.
Yeah,
one of them could have literally took their foot out, tripped one of the kids, or stopped them, or whatever the case might be. Everybody's in their own bubble.
Not my problem.
I know. No, but they're in their own bubble of it's not my problem.
Yeah.
And then you end up seeing him in the alleyway getting jumped and beat up and so on and so forth. And that itself started the movie of,
okay, this is it sprung it. Like, you knew, okay, this is where the movie's going.
And it just went on after that. And there were so many examples in this movie where I really enjoyed that Todd Phillips and them really took the time to discuss and display the many issues we have in the world as humans. And he put it all on a silver platter, to be honest. I understand there's some movies out there that they'll try to display the same message, but they'll overcomplicate it. He did a very good job just laying it down and being like, this is it. It is what it is. This is it.
Yeah.
And I think Todd Phillips never, especially, when you think of Todd Phillips, what do you only think of? Hangover.
Yeah.
His comedic stuff that he's done, and for him to come out and create this in my opinion, this masterpiece, it was very good.
So, yeah.
But as a movie, it was good. Now
this is where we tend to part a little bit. Is just, and I might, how do I say it? For a movie, fantastic. For a Joker interpretation that I personally like.
And I feel it.
I didn't get the same, I guess when I think of Joker, I don't get the background story. It just doesn't match to my persona or my
your idea of what he is.
Yes, of who he is.
Yes.
Like, instead, I guess, I don't see the Joker as, like, this, put it simple, sociopath, who he has some empathy, but he also does not, you can even see, like, in the way that he doesn't know when to laugh. He doesn't...
And I did like that they kind of put some human aspect to that, of the disease. You know, the disease he had of his uncontrollable
Well, that's
laugh.
different. That's like a tick, like a nervous tick. I'm talking about the fact that at the comedy club, when he's taking notes...
Oh, he doesn't... Yeah, he doesn't
He does
know,
not...
Yeah.
He doesn't have the same social-emotional skills as other people.
Yeah, the guy was talking about how him and his wife does, like, role play. And he was like, I'm a professor, and he laughed, and everybody just went... And then... he can't recognize social cues. Even in his writing, in his journal, you can tell also of that. Yeah.
So, that's just one element, which I guess... I don't know. I see Joker as like a psychopath, and this felt more like a sociopath. And that's fine. It's just that's not what it was a different kind of Joker, and I prefer the more psychopath version. Like, maybe one traumatic event that brought this on.
She's talking about, like, a Heath Ledger version of it.
I do prefer that version. There's nothing wrong with this version. It's just not in my taste. Like, if they're going to make a series on it, I want to see the psychopath version. I want to see that one traumatic event just caused that. I don't know how I feel about someone who already you can clearly see is going through a mental health crisis. He has sociopath tendencies going on, I guess that's what you could say. He has a mother with mental illness herself, and it's just, I don't know, I guess they were trying to give him more
mother, or whatever you want to call it.
A what?
I don't know what the term is. A mother who adopted him because he was a orphan. So it's not like his direct mother.
Yes.
And then obviously you learn that supposedly his father is the boyfriend of hers beat the crap out of him and stuck him to a radiator and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he was abused. So it just, I know, they were making this Joker story, and they made it, like, to me, and I know, it was just a little too close to home, I'm sure, to a lot of people.
Which I get, because in a Joker film, or a Joker itself, you shouldn't feel that empathy at all towards him. Unless you truly do like him as a character, but that's it. But you should never feel empathy for him or understand what he's going through because of the character DC has created for him in the comics and everything else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that was just my personal opinion, is that if you all enjoyed this version of Joker, and that's cool. That's cool. That's fine. It's just, for me, I want that psychopath version, and that's just. But I don't know. I went in and I was like, okay, this is not what I expected seeing Joker.
I don't think a lot of people.
But it's still just as great, just not the version that
you were hoping.
That I enjoy watching, I guess.
No, I get sense. Well, the thing is, I did like about this, as considered being a Joker film, was that at the end of the movie, there's a scene where he's like dozing off, and the therapist asks.
You mean when he's in the mental hospital?
When he's in Arkham Asylum, and the therapist says, or psychiatrist says, what's funny? And he's like, you won't understand.
You wouldn't
now,
get it.
the thing I looked at that as, I understand it shows the connection between Wayne and Martha being killed, both parents getting killed, Bruce's parents, and I get that, but I'm thinking that, do you think possibly the whole thing was just a story made up in his head? Because as a Joker film and whatever, Joker has millions of side stories, and the closest one we've seen was from Killing Joke. That is maybe accurate, but we don't know. So that's what I'm saying. That's the one thing I did like about this movie. It felt like everything you watched, you didn't know if all of it actually happened, or is true, or is he thinking about doing something like that. Yeah, I know, and that's why I did like it as a Joker film, and that's why I enjoyed that
Inception
aspect.
Twist that you were.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio coming out.
But Yeah, which is cool, and I
Yeah.
liked it, and I loved the movie. I felt like it was more of a let's address the issues in our
It
society
was
and the
more
mental health crisis that
yeah.
our country's going through, and it hit
It
a
was a
lot of
more of a
political elements, which
character.
was
Yeah.
awesome.
It was more of a character development of a person who's kind of like Shutter Island or so on and so forth, where it's kind of just a specific individual who you display everything that's happened for them to get to a point that they're at, kind of ordeal.
Yeah.
And the movie you're probably looking for was that, but more Joker-ish that you're kind of looking
Yeah.
for, which is the psychopath instead of the sociopath.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. I like the version where there's no reason or rhyme. Like it's just this is who he is, and he doesn't have a true deep down motive. It's just anybody can reach that point where they just snap, and I mean Arthur reached that point where he just snapped, but he had clear understanding of why he snapped, and
But that's
which I know is the same reason for DC Joker and everything else. It's just
no,
I don't know.
but that's what I think.
He was so vocal about it, and I'm not used to a Joker being so vocal about why he snapped.
Her and I did talk about it before, which we normally don't, but we did talk about his motives, and so that was the thing that upset you was, and to be honest, throughout DC, and if you kept up with anime movies, threads or whatever you did, to an extent the only motive he truly has has to be towards Batman, because that's technically his quote unquote doppelganger, or whatever term you want to use,
ego.
his alter self, and that's supposed to be Joker, even in the Arkham games and so on. But that's the thing, that technically that's only been his motive that I could think of. In this movie, his motive was, if there was a motive, was you people who
Keep
are the
beating me
rich,
down.
the superstars like Robert De Niro, who was represented as king of comedy in that scene where he makes fun of them, the bullies, that those type of people are the reasons why people who are in the lower end or on the lower class, or the people who don't stand up for themselves, tends to go crazy. But that becomes a motive for them to do something to those people. Normally, and I get it, in other Joker stuff, there really isn't a motive besides Batman is my everything, and I need to do everything what Batman do the opposite of what Batman does. and so that's what I'm saying. I get that aspect, but I really think Todd Phillips and them did a very good job.
Yeah,
at least
they did.
Showing us a new Joker that we haven't seen, and it was a very cool take.
Yeah.
But I also understand that
It might.
you probably want to see a Joker that Jared Leto can fix his role, or get someone else to actually display that, to be as close as possible to maybe what Heath Ledger could do. But that's the issue.
That's just my personal opinion.
Right.
This is my personal opinion, and I
No,
know
but
there's
I agree
plenty
also.
of people who are like, no, this is the Joker we've been looking for, and that's great.
Because with humans, they need some type of reason, and I think people don't like the idea of there's no reasoning with Joker, and I think with this Joker version, there is a reason or motives or whatever for him to do what he does.
Yeah.
There was a lot to uncover. There's a lot of political stuff we're not really going to get into, but there's just a lot of information on there that really displays as human, and I hope this really gave a home run to people who don't think this type of stuff matters to them a lot, and I hope it kind of opened their eyes a little bit with mental illness and some of that stuff with politics and so on and so forth. But I hope Todd Phillips kind of display his message enough to kind of make people understand much more, because I think it did. I think with a lot of things I saw, I think people finally said, wow, I didn't know about this, or I think it opened people's eyes.
I mean, deep down, like, moral story, like, just, you don't know what's going on behind the curtains in anybody's life. You don't know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know the struggles that people are facing. You don't. So
for you to assume
let's bring a little more
yeah.
kindness and stop, jumping down people's throats.
And put a smile on that face.
Okay.
Now, so before we end this video, like I said, there's a lot to uncover. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the movie. Hopefully you enjoyed this review, but before we end it, We got to give a number. Or, I'm sorry, a letter. My bad. So, what do you give it?
I like to say it's a solid B+ film. It is.
Now, the difference for you and I, like most professors, is that 0.12%. I give it like an A-. I think to get it to an A+ film was probably the idea of the motives and the idea of that really, I guess, the display of Joker. But besides that, Todd Phillips created a masterpiece, and I think it'll be a movie that carries on for a long time. Kind of like Scorsese films or Tarantino's films and just Christopher Nolan's, and there's many different directors that I can't think of at the moment, but I think this movie will carry for a long time.
Yeah.
You give it a B+?
Yeah, and that's because, like I said, just my interpretation of Joker, and I feel like, to be honest, that's mainly it, is my interpretation of Joker, and I don't know, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, but, yeah. But yeah, we do appreciate watching, appreciate you listening, and hopefully you enjoyed this review. But until then though, Nintendo. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Every week, we provide resources and information that can help us all make a difference in the world. This can include links to important petitions, organizations to follow and donate to, small family businesses that you can support, and even literature and other podcasts that can help you get informed. Make sure to also follow Diamante's World on Instagram to find more ways we can promote change and justice. If you have an organization or resource you would like us to share, let us know in the comments too.